Destiny 2 is now out in the wild on the PS4 and Xbox One, but whether you're a new player joining the series or someone who has played a little bit of the first Destiny, you'll find that there's still probably a lot that you don't know. By now, you've most likely powered through the campaign, done a couple of adventures, maybe some public events, and shot a lot of things to get some sweet engrams. After all that, you may be asking yourself questions like, when should I decrypt my engrams? What should I infuse my gear with? What even is infusing gear? Well, ask no more, as these are the things you need to know to get the most out of Destiny 2. First things first, let's talk about power level, because you've most likely seen that certain events suggest a recommended power level and other events have a required power level for you to actually be able to do them. Your power level is the average of all the gear you have equipped. A good way to up your average is by decrypting engrams you've collected. In the first Destiny, you could save your engrams to decrypt them at a higher level for higher stats, but in Destiny 2, the stats are determined straight after they're dropped for most engrams, and are based on your highest level average regardless of what you currently have equipped. When I say most engrams, I mean legendary, exotic, and so forth. The ones that you'll want to sit on are luminous engrams, also known as powerful engrams, which are dropped for doing various events like the weekly nightfalls and so on. You'll want to decrypt these as close to the reset as possible, which is 9 AM UTC, or you can look up on Google what 9 AM UTC would be for your local time. Basically, when your level is at its peak for that week. If you don't decrypt them in time, fear not, as they decrypt on their own with the reset and the items will be added to your inventory. You can still visit the relevant person too without decrypting the luminous engram as well, just hit the B or circle button to ignore the prompt and save it for later. With everything you don't want, you can just dismantle it. Before you start dismantling things though, you should lock the items that you really love, just so you don't accidentally dismantle them and end up losing an exotic item. If you do accidentally dismantle an exotic, then you can purchase them again from your collection in your vault, but it will be a low level. Once you've got things locked, you can start scrapping all that gear. Dismantling gear not only helps to clear out your inventory, but also gives you resources. Bright engram items can be dismantled for bright dust, white and green gear items can be dismantled for some glimmer, blue rare items will give you gunsmith materials, and then legendary and exotic items give you legendary shards which you'll need for infusion, which we'll talk more about later. It's worth noting that while in the original Destiny the game dropped engrams based on your current power level, Destiny 2 does it on your best possible power level on the items you have in your inventory. So if you like that auto rifle but it's not your most powerful gun, still feel free to use it. Now let's talk vendors. You'll have come across a lot of vendors on your travels, no doubt, and each of them offer various things and require specific items in exchange for better loot. A lot of the main vendors are just dotted around the social space, and then you'll find one vendor on each of Destiny 2's planets. With some of these vendors, you'll have the option to increase your reputation by giving them specific tokens or redeemable resources in exchange for a legendary engram. For example, on EDZ you can collect EDZ tokens or dust-like shards to give to Devrim K to get a sweet engram. You can also complete other activities to do the same with Zavala, Lord Shax, Ikora, Sloan, Felsafe, and Asher for more legendary engrams. As for the gunsmith vendors, you just need to trade in gunsmith materials that you gathered from dismantling weapons. Another great vendor to mention is Cade 6, as he sells treasure maps which you can buy to highlight chests in that given week's flashpoint location. These chests give some very good rewards and every week they get reset. Other than that, you'll find that you can buy various items from each of these vendors as well, but that's pretty much vendors in a nutshell. After playing through the campaign, you'll have gotten your hands only slightly dirty, but that merely scratches the surface. Now the hard work really starts, and sure, you may be a level 20 now, but you'll be fairly low when it comes to power. Reaching the soft cap of 265 is easy. This can be done through getting legendary and exotic drops, but getting to the dizzy heights of 300 takes some doing. Here's where infusion really comes in. Infusing basically takes the lower level item and takes it up to the level of the higher item. Infuse a 250 handgun with a 100 one, and the 100 one becomes a 250 one. Simple. Remember, you can only infuse legendary and exotic pieces. Although blues can be used to boost other items, In short, you can't rock any blue items if you want that power level up near the 300s. In order to infuse, however, you will need legendary shards, which can be received by dismantling legendary items and above, so get breaking down those dupes. There are more ways to reach the higher 200s however, and once you get around the 275 power level, blues that drop will be around 6 to 8 levels lower, meaning you can use those to top up your lowest gear because of the mods on them and whatnot. It'll make sense when you get to that 270-ish mark, trust us. After all that gear management, talking to vendors and infusing items and so on, we can now talk events. There are various events around Destiny 2 land that you can take on to get loot, like public events, nightfall missions and raids, which will help you to get various engrams ranging from rare to luminous, also known as powerful engrams. You've probably already done a few public events at this point, but what you might have missed is that you can turn these into heroic public events to get better loot. The way to do this is by completing a specific objective during the event before it ends, which will then trigger switching it to a heroic event with a new objective, and Bob's your uncle, you'll get better rewards. Here's a quick breakdown on how to turn each public event into a heroic. During the Cabal Excavation event, you have to take down a flying thresher. It will perform a flyby twice, so if you miss it the first time, you'll have a second chance to take it down. During the Glimmer Extraction event, there's a small machine that appears on the ground near the drill. You have to destroy this machine at each location to trigger the heroic event. During the Injection Rig event, you need to shoot the open heat vents, which open in phases. There's 3 at the top, 3 in the middle and 1 on the bottom. Destroy 1 on each phase and it will trigger the heroic event. During the Ether Resupply event, you just need to take out the smaller servitors that spawn around the main large one. For the Spire Integration event, you need to capture plates around the beacon and stop the Vex from integrating. During the Taken Blight event, when you see the buff message Blight receding pop up on your screen, then start shooting the largest Blight glob to take it down and trigger the heroic event. During the Walker event, you need to pick up the arc charges the Walker drops and use those to bring down the 3 shielded weapons that are scattered around. And finally, in the Witch's Ritual event, stand in the circular green areas to shoot out one of the crystals at the top corners of the giant portal. If you find yourself starting a public event but find that there are no players around to take part, then you can just fast travel to a spot nearby which will load up another instance of the map where there might be more players available. If you're going solo as well, don't bother going heroic as it may take up too much time and effort. A far more efficient way is to just roll from public event to public event without making them heroic. Time versus reward and all that. At the end of the day, it's up to you. In order to get the best out of the events, nightfalls and raids are the way forward. These will net you luminous engrams once a week, which is where the big money is in terms of items. They do recommend a power level depending on the week. I'd add 10 to the levels just to be safe, maybe even 20 for things like the raids. After all, it is better to be safe than sorry. Milestones are effectively the game's breadcrumbs. In short, do these, get rewards. There's basically 2 types of milestones, daily and weekly. These are spread across various different activities and events like Crucible, raids, nightfalls and flashpoints. The aforementioned flashpoint is basically a planet-specific public event fest, i.e. like doing loads of public events on a certain planet. Complete the milestones and you'll bag one hell of a prize, usually in the form of a powerful engram, which are needed to get close to that 300 power mark and beyond. These are a great way to get your Guardian ready to participate in some of the higher level events like the raids, the nightfall and so on, especially the Crucible and Flashpoint ones. They're usually pretty easy and don't require too much of you or your fellow Guardians. You'll get daily milestones and weekly milestones which are spread across a wide variety of activities and events, and when you complete them, you'll unlock gear to increase your Guardian's power level. Completing milestones is a good way to get your Guardian ready to participate in some of the higher level events like raids. Keep up with these and you'll be looking at that 265 number in the rearview mirror on that Guardian highway to Destiny Legendsville. Exotic quests are another form of event found around Destiny's planets that you can do to get some more loot, but these are a little different to the public events and raids. In fact, they're quite a lot different, but they're just as worthwhile in the grand scheme of things. After completing the main campaign, you'll find on each planet a new quest to complete. It'll be a purple icon with a crown symbol. When you head over to one of these quests and start them, this kicks off what Bungie is calling exotic quests, which can give you, well, exotics. Each one is different with a unique story and set of objectives for you to complete, so you'll probably want to get on these as soon as you can. They'll usually come in the form of do a bit of story, get something, fulfill that criteria by completing objectives, and you'll then be rewarded with an exotic gun. It's worth noting that the Rat King exotic quest requires a fire team for a portion of it, but other than that it works the same as all the other exotic quests. It's also worth noting that these rewards have the potential to have a higher power level than your highest power level item in your inventory too. If you want to fully capitalize on these exotic weapons, then it's best to attempt these when you've reached a power level of 265 and above. Hitting the 265 soft cap will help boost your chances of getting the best possible exotic reward, which you're free to use, infuse or just abuse. The choice is yours. Last but by no means least, clans. Clans in Destiny 2 are great things to be a part of because it's cool to work together, and Destiny 2, like the original, is best experienced with friends, or friends of friends, or even randoms you've never met in real life. Remember, we were all randoms once, as were your current crop of friends. Every member in the clan contributes to unlocking rewards and perks for one another. It's a team effort sort of thing, and once you join a clan you'll start earning clan XP to level said clan, which in turn unlocks special perks for each and every member. Along with earning clan perks, you can complete certain activities during the week to unlock a reward for the entire clan to collect too. Check you out for giving something back to the community. Go you, give yourself a pat on the back. Being part of a clan is a great way to get some extra loot, and one that requires very little to no effort on your behalf. You literally just have to sign up and then start reaping the rewards. The more active the clan, the better. One final note of point is that the weekly clan engrams get reset every week and the clan perks get reset every season. And that's it, 7 helpful steps to get the best out of Destiny 2's postgame. It's worth it just to experience the raids. Now, what are you waiting for? Go out there and be the best guardian that you can possibly be and start grinding that light.